All right, so general thoughts on GPP. So, if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, I post stuff in my stories like every single day. And someone asked me on Instagram, here we go, I'm going to lose my voice again. Someone asked me on Instagram about GPP, and I thought, yeah, that's a good topic. A lot of people don't think about GPP. And here are some general thoughts on GPP. So, first off, let's lay something down here. In my most humbled opinions, everything we do in the gym is GPP. You want sport specific, go practice your sport. So, if your sport is hockey, you need to put your skates on, grab your stick, and get out on the ice. That's sport specific. If your sport is soccer, then you're going to put on your cleats or your shoes that you wear for indoor, I guess, and you're going to go get a soccer ball, and you're going to do soccer drills. Football, you're going to put your pads on, throw your helmet on, grab the ball, and go. That's sport specific, okay? And for those of you who are in certain professions, this means you're going to go put on your kit, grab your rifle, and go do what you do. Maybe you're, they call them shoot houses now because apparently kill house was too mean sounding. But you're going to practice room clears. You're going to do, breaching, whatever it is. You are going to go practice your sport. That is sport specific. Everything we do in the gym, in my opinion, then is GPP. It's general. And so, how do you structure this? What's more important, what is general and actually has what we call dynamic correspondence, transfer of training. And that's going to depend on your sport. It's going to depend on your profession, whatever it is you're training for, okay? But in general, we can have some basic guidelines. And the most basic thing I can possibly tell you is push, pull, squat, and hinge. Now, there will be some people who start to try to sound smart, so they want to break it down into vertical pull, horizontal pull, vertical push, horizontal pull, whatever, vertical versus horizontal pushing and pulling. And now we're going to have knee dominant squats versus hip dominant squats, and we're going to have, whatever. You're overthinking it at that point. I assure you, if you do nothing but overhead presses and pull-ups, both vertical, okay, you are not going to run into some weird muscular imbalance where suddenly you'll be able to, you'll be able to strict overhead press 225, but you won't be able to bench press it. It's not going to happen. I can strict overhead press 225 for a set of 3. I don't have any trouble benching 225 for sets of 10 and 12 where I do multiple sets of 10 and 12. Okay, so I've never maxed out. I will never max out my bench press. There's no reason for me to. I'm not a power lifter. I don't compete in the bench press. I'm also not a bodybuilder, so I'm not going to train, bench press to failure because I got to get big pecs for the girls or something. I have no trouble coming in and doing 10 sets of 12, 225 bench press. So tell me that the overhead pressing somehow harmed me. And that's after years of not doing bench press. I only started bench pressing because now I have some disease in my wrist and I have a hard time with the overhead press because I lost the range of motion in my wrist due to this disease that's eating the bone and the tendon. In any case, same thing for pull-ups. I don't do a lot of bent over rows. I do a lot of pull-ups. I do a lot of weighted pull-ups. I think my record for weighted pull-ups was I did 75 pounds for a set of 10, which is not too bad, meaning that I weighed like 150 at the time. So I'm going to rock and roll with that one, and I'm going to tell you that when I do rows, I have no trouble banging out tons of reps with rows. And for those of you who follow me on IG, watched this whole last week while I was at Mayo Clinic and training out of a hotel, I would grab the 50-pound dumbbell and just do sets of 20 back and forth. 20 reps right arm, 20 reps left arm, 20 reps right arm, 20 reps left arm, until I got 120 reps per arm. Not 120 reps total, 120 reps per arm. Just 6 sets, just go back and forth. My main pulling movement has been pull-ups. That's all I do is pull, 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 and it's all pull-ups. And yet suddenly, whenever I didn't have a pull-up bar, I just started doing bent over rows with a dumbbell, and I have no trouble banging out reps. So I don't believe you have to break your training down into horizontal push versus vertical push and all this crap like that. We're already getting off in a tangent. The point being that I'm trying to share with you is your GPP really is GPP. It really is general, okay? I choose movements that are comfortable for me to perform. Now, mind you, my preferred way of training, this is different than how I am training. So I prefer to snatch, power clean, yes, power clean, and squat. That's what I like to do. Snatches, power cleans, and squats. That's what I like to do. However, because of this weird disease that's, doing whatever it is to my wrist, I can't do snatches and I can't do cleans anymore. But I can still front squat. Mind you, this is not the way I like to front squat. I like to front squat whole hand. So I keep my whole hand wrapped around the bar. Because of my wrist, I have to do it with an open hand. But you know what? Doing front squats with an open hand is better than not doing front squats. Okay? And also, because of this wrist thing, I'm having trouble actually deadlifting with a straight bar. So I've been doing trap bar deadlifts. Okay? This is not a prescription. You don't have to copy me. The point is that you can be flexible. And I'm doing behind the neck presses because being in the behind the neck position doesn't require me to turn my wrist back. And I'm doing bench presses because bench presses are pain-free, unlike the overhead press where I have to turn my wrist back. So for your GPP program, choose a pushing movement. Maybe it's a bench press, maybe it's behind the neck press, maybe it's a push press. Whatever it is, choose a pushing movement. Choose one that is pain-free. This may mean that you use a Swiss bar. This may mean that you do dumbbell bench presses. There's nothing wrong with dumbbell bench presses. There's nothing wrong with dumbbell overhead presses. You're going to choose a pressing movement, and you're just going to progress it over time. And I don't care how you progress it over time. Say you want to use 50s, and you can get 10 reps. Now you want to try to get 11 reps, and then 12 reps, and then increase your reps over time using 50s. Or you could say, I'm going to do 10 reps and increase the weight by 5 pounds every week. That's fine too. It really doesn't matter how you progress it. What's most important here is that you choose a pressing movement that does not cause you pain. You're going to choose a pulling movement. You're going to choose a pulling movement that does not cause you pain. I recommend pull-ups because I love pull-ups, but you might want to do bent over rows or Pendlay rows or something like that. You may find that is difficult on your back over time. Just something to think about. Just because this pulling movement doesn't cause pain in your arm or your shoulder, okay, be mindful of your low back. Bent over rows will wear your low back out, okay? Go find my video on push-pull legs. I talk about why you shouldn't do push-pull legs because your back is worn out from that pull day of doing bent over rows, and then you're going to go heavy on legs. No, I don't want to do heavy squats when my low back is fatigued. All right, now you're going to choose a squatting movement. I don't care what squatting movement you choose. You can do box squats. You could do low bar back squats, high bar back squats, front squats. You could do safety bar squats. In fact, actually, let me give you the old man program. The old man program is you get a Swiss bar, and that's what you're going to bench press with. You're going to bench press with a Swiss bar. You're going to do a safety squat bar for your squats. And then you're going to do a trap bar for your deadlift. Throw in some pull-ups. You're good to go. Here we go back to the point here. You're going to choose a squatting movement. I don't care what squatting movement you choose. Maybe you want to do Zercher squats. I don't care. Choose a squatting movement. You want to do any type of squatting movement whatsoever. Hell, for this whole past week, you guys saw it on IG. I racked the dumbbells and just held the dumbbells up. It's almost like a goblet squat, holding 2 dumbbells, 2 50-pound dumbbells, and just did sets of, I changed it around because otherwise I get bored. So I did sets of 20 with 2-minute rests, or I did sets of 15 with 90-second rests, or I did sets of 10 with 1-minute rests. Regardless, it's 50 pounds because that's the heaviest thing they had at the hotel. They didn't have any dumbbells that were heavier than 50 pounds. So I grabbed 2 50-pound dumbbells. I got 100 pounds. What do you do with 100 pounds? Do a whole bunch of reps. So, some days I did 120 reps. Some days I did 150 reps. Some days I did 200 reps. And I just broke it up however. So sets of 20 with 2-minute rests, sets of 15 with 90-second rests, sets of 10 with 1-minute rests. Just change it up so that you're not doing the same thing every day, otherwise it gets really boring, even though you are technically doing the same thing every day. It just feels different because you change the rest interval. And then, of course, your hinging movement. You could do Dimmel deadlifts. I'm a huge fan of Dimmel deadlifts. I think Dimmel deadlifts are massively underrated. I think that most of you out there are actually doing Dimmel deadlifts. You think you're doing an RDL, but you straighten your knee. Well, if you straighten your knee, it's not an RDL. You can look up Nico Vlad, and you can see how they were done properly. If you straighten your knee, it's not an RDL. That's a Dimmel deadlift. You could be doing trap bar deadlifts. You could be doing sumo deadlifts. You could be doing power cleans. Power cleans are a hinge. You could be doing snatch grip deadlifts. You could be doing any variety of hinging movements where you're picking something up off the floor. I don't care. Use dumbbells. Use a sandbag. Use a kettlebell. A kettlebell swing actually is still a hinge. You can pick anything you like because this is GPP. Okay? And what I recommend you do is you choose these movements, do these movements consistently for at least 4 weeks. At least 4 weeks of doing the same movements. And then you can change it if you like. So let's just pick one movement. We're going to say that your squat. You are going to high bar squat for the first 4 weeks. And then you're going to switch to front squats for 4 weeks. And then you're going to switch to safety bar squats for 4 weeks. And then you're going to do a low bar back squat for 4 weeks. And then you're going to do a box squat for 4 weeks. And you see now where you have this progression where you're doing other movements. Now, you don't have to change every 4 weeks, by the way. I don't. Typically, I stick with the same movement for 12 to 16 weeks because I find that that's how long it takes for me to adapt to a movement where I don't get any more out of it. So if I start doing front squats and I am 4 weeks in, I know full well that if I keep doing front squats, I'll still continue to put 5 pounds on the bar or get more reps or something. I will continue to make progress. I don't tend to plateau until I'm about 16 weeks deep. So I can do the exact same movement over and over and over again for 16 weeks straight before I have to change it. But maybe you're more advanced. And if you're more advanced, maybe you have to change every 2 weeks because you're so advanced. But that's unlikely. Most of us can run the same thing over and over and over again for a long period of time before we have to change anything. The trick to this is managing your volume. Don't add too much volume. That way you can gradually increase the volume over time. If you start off with 100 sets, what are you going to do? 101 sets? 102 sets? This is ridiculous. And if you start off with 5 sets, you can even go to 6 sets. And when you average 6 sets isn't enough, you can go to 7 sets. You know, it's like, hey, I work out for an hour a day. Now I work out for an hour and 10 minutes a day. Now I work out for an hour and 20 minutes a day. Now I work out for an hour and 30 minutes a day. And then I change the stimulus and start back down at an hour. If you're training for 8 hours, God bless you. What are you going to do? 9, 10, 12? You know what I'm saying here? Like, there's a point where, like, there's a law of diminishing returns. Starting at your maximum volume doesn't leave you anywhere to go. So, this is the basis of just my general thoughts on GPP. Pick basic movements and hammer them. Okay, we're not done, though. Those are the basic movements. The last thing I'm going to throw in there for your GPP, because it is GPP, is a bit of conditioning. Now, one of the things I recommend to you is actually steal a page from CrossFit. We're not going to do CrossFit. We're just going to do circuits. And I recommend you choose circuits that are entirely body weight. I know lots of you think that I'm anti-lunges. I'm not anti-lunges. I'm anti-stupid. So doing really heavy lunges, like a 1-rep max lunge, that's fucking dumb. If you see someone posting something on IG telling you about their 1-rep max lunge, you know that this person is an attention-seeking whore. And that is a very stupid way to train. You don't do a 1-rep max lunge. That would be like you saying, I'm going to do a 1-rep max preacher curl. That is fucking dumb. But I'm all for doing lunges. I am not opposed to lunges. I'm just opposed to doing 1-rep max lunges. I'm not opposed to preacher curls. I'm opposed to doing 1-rep max preacher curls. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. That should make sense to all of you. This is like hip thrusts. Doing a 1-rep max hip thrust is stupid. Doing hip thrusts is fine. Keep the weight light. Don't be dumb. This is like, I'm going to do a 1 rep max leg extension. Who the fuck cares? That's not how you do leg extensions. Put some less weight on it and actually get some work in. Anyways, point being, okay, choose bodyweight exercises. I like to do things like alternating reverse lunges, walking lunges, push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, air squats. These are all great bodyweight movements. There's tons of bodyweight movements. You guys can go find Admiral Smith's PT program. It's free. You can go find the Navy SEAL Physical Fitness Guide. You can find it for free. It's written by like Patricia Deutscher. Don't know how to pronounce her last name because if I've heard it pronounced, I can generally just read it to you. The point being, you can find this program and just pick 4 movements and do it as a circuit. So you're going to do alternating reverse lunges, then you're going to do some sit-ups, then you're going to do some push-ups, and I don't know, maybe we're going to do a set of pull-ups. And then you're just repeat those 4 movements 5 or 6 times through. That's not a bad idea there. There's a little bit of conditioning for you, okay? Another good thing for you to include is something ambulatory. Maybe it's a bear crawl. Maybe you push a sled. Maybe you go for a run. I don't have a problem with any of these. You can do a farmer's walk. One of my favorite things to do is I actually will do a medley of farmer walk and sled push. I'll do a farmer walk, down and back, and then I'll do a sled push, down and back. And then I pick up the dumbbells again. Yes, I have to use dumbbells because I don't have farmer handles. And I will walk those down. Hey, by the way, if you can carry 50-pound dumbbells for 6 minutes straight, your grip is going to get much better. So don't knock the idea of doing light farmer carries for long periods of time. So you're not just carrying 50s for 100 yards, you're going to carry 50s for 6 minutes. It's a different game. Anyways, that's not a bad medley. It's ambulatory again. Here we are, right back to walking lunges, ambulatory. Bear crawls, ambulatory. Running, sprints, hill sprints, anything you like. And then you're going to have one day where you're going to do low shit. So you're going to be looking at your heart rate, and you're going to do like 180 minus your age. So if you're 40, you're going to look at a max heart rate of 140. So you're going to keep it below 140, and you're going to do an Airdyne or a stationary bike or whatever you like. Just keep it low intensity, and you're going to do 20 to 30 minutes. Now you've got your conditioning and your cardio in, okay? And that's your basic GPP program. You have a strength movement of, whatever presses and pulls and squats and hinges. You have the strength element there. You're going to have some conditioning in it. So you're going to do a bit of high intensity, if you will, of, hell, pick 2 movements. Do air squats and push-ups back and forth, 20 push-ups, 20 air squats. And do that 5 times through as fast as you possibly can. That's going to be a hell of a conditioning burner there. You got to get back up and off the floor over again every time. That's a good one. It's super simple. Don't overthink it, okay? And then, of course, we're going to have some type of movement in there, like a loaded carry, a sled push, whatever you like. I don't care. Do a waiter walk. Carry something overhead. Pick up a sandbag, bear hug it, and carry it, okay? And then you're going to have some cardio in there. I don't even care what you do for that. Maybe you want to hit a punching bag. Go get a heavy bag and go hit it. Go hop on the Airdyne. Whatever you like. Do a ruck march. Put on a pack and carry it. Doesn't really matter. I don't really care that much about your heart rate either. People obsess over this heart rate shit. You know what you need to do? Go hard enough that you're breathing hard, but not so hard that you have to breathe through your mouth. So, you should be able to maintain nasal breathing. That's about where I think that your threshold should be. Don't fry yourself on your low day. Your lows need to be low. Your highs should be high. So when you sprint maximally. Your lows should be low. Anyways, there you guys have it. I really am losing my voice at this point, so I gotta get some water. I can't stand fucking being intubated. Sucks. Anyways, those are my general thoughts on GPP. And from that, you should be able to easily make your own program. This is not rocket science. Don't overthink it. Keep it simple. And make sure you're hitting just a little bit of everything, because that's the whole point of GPP.